Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into something really relatable for so many creatives, authors especially. Picture this. You pour absolutely everything, your heart, soul, endless hours, into writing your book. You polish it, you obsess, you finally hit publish, and then nothing. Crickets. Just that awful, crushing silence. Author KJ, she nails this feeling. She calls it that painful moment when your passion slams into the brick wall of the market. Oof, that's vivid, isn't it?
It really is. It's hard. And that's exactly why our mission today is to explore a book that actually offers a roadmap through that exact struggle. We're diving into Why Is Nobody Buying My Book by KJ. And for this deep dive, we're drawing mainly from a really thorough review over at Book Life, but also from Kay's own talks about her journey and what she learned along the way.
And this topic is just so relevant. Maybe you're an author who's felt that exact sting, or any creative trying to make that connection. Or maybe you're just curious about how marketing strategy can actually mesh with deep emotional understanding. Because what's so compelling here, I think, is that this isn't just another book full of marketing tactics. It's really about understanding the human stuff underneath, the emotional drivers that build connection and, ultimately lead to success. It kind of reframes the whole thing. Okay, so let's unpack this then. What's the core problem KJ really zeroes in on for indie authors? What's that really personal struggle that goes beyond just, low sales numbers?
Well, she tackles that really intimate feeling, right? Pouring your soul into something and getting silence back. For an author, why isn't my book selling? It's not just about the money, is it? It digs right into your self-worth, your whole sense of purpose. But why is nobody buying my book? It doesn't just sympathize. Book Life points out it's a guide. It's designed to give authors a totally fresh perspective. And this is key concrete strategies. It's about moving from that paralysis of why isn't this working to actually doing something effective, helping authors, like the review says, stand out and succeed in what is, let's face it, a very crowded market.
Yeah, it really is crowded. And what makes this book particularly fascinating is how personal KJ's own journey was to get to these insights. Her first series, Diary of Cliches, that was described as almost cathartic for her, deeply personal. She put her own trials, her triumphs, everything into it. But then after launching, she hit what she calls the crushing reality of low sales and self-doubt. She talks really openly about it, too, those sleepless nights, questioning her pricing, rewriting her book description, just wondering if her voice was even, meant to be heard.
Exactly. And that raw personal struggle, that really honest wrestling with doubt and the hard facts of publishing, that became the fertile ground for this new book. So it's not just some dry how-to manual. It's woven through with her own story, her own realization that writing isn't just about the story you tell, it's about how that story connects with your audience. Her journey really provides the foundation for the whole approach.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. KJ points to 3 core pillars for author success. And she doesn't just list them, she weaves them together. Money, NLP, that's neuro-linguistic programming, and healing, a kind of holistic framework.
Yeah, let's start with the money part, which she calls the emotional economy of money.
Yeah.
This idea is kind of a game changer. KJ argues that when readers hesitate to buy, it isn't always about the actual price tag. Often, she suggests, it actually stems from the author's own subconscious doubts. Doubts about the book's value, or maybe even their own value. And that insecurity, even if it's subtle, can genuinely put buyers off.
Wow, okay. So her insight is that your own hidden doubts about your work's worth might be a bigger barrier than the price. That's profound. It's less about the actual dollars and more about your belief in it. So the book must offer practical ways to build that confidence in your pricing, in connecting authentically, moving from fear about selling to feeling empowered.
Precisely. Because buying a book, fundamentally it's an emotional transaction. Readers are always asking themselves, consciously or not, is this book really worth my money and my time? Especially now, right? With endless entertainment options screaming for attention, authors have to offer compelling value. KJ really stresses pricing with conviction,
right,
and shifting your view of the book from something that needs to validate you to seeing it as a gift to the world. That's a huge mindset shift for any creator, really.
Okay, so if believing in your work's value is step 1, the next big question is, how do you actually communicate that value? How do you connect on that deeper level? And this brings us to the second pillar, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. For anyone not familiar, what's NLP actually bringing to the table here? Is it just fancy marketing speak?
Not at all, actually. NLP is basically the study of how language and behaviors influence our subconscious mind. What KJ does is apply these principles directly to authorship. showing how specific language techniques in your title, your description, even within the story itself, can forge deeper connections, tapping into a reader's subconscious needs and desires.
Right. So she gives actual examples of using NLP. Yeah, like crafting emotional hooks instead of just saying, learn to manage stress. Maybe something like, discover how to find calm in the chaos of life. One's kind of dry, the other evokes a feeling, right? A promise. Or using vivid imagery anchoring, she calls it, like the journey of healing is like learning to swim in stormy seas, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she talks about mastering the art of mirroring your reader's desires, using their actual words for their pain points and dreams.
Yes, exactly. By using language that mirrors their internal world, their thoughts and feelings, it creates this almost instant connection.
Yeah.
It makes the book feel like it was practically written for them. It builds that rapport, that trust almost immediately, like you're speaking directly to their heart.
And then the book seems to take an even deeper, more introspective turn with this third pillar, healing through storytelling, a dual journey. This feels pretty unique for a book about selling things. It implies something about writing as therapy. How does that fit into selling books?
This is really the emotional heart of the strategy, as KJ puts it. Her point is powerful. The act of writing itself, especially when you dig into your own experiences, your own vulnerabilities, can be incredibly healing for the author. And here's the brilliant connection. By embracing that vulnerability in your writing, you can then inspire, connect with, and potentially even help heal your readers. It creates this incredibly strong, authentic bond between author and reader.
So vulnerability isn't a weakness here, it's actually a bridge. That's quite a shift. The material we looked at says the book talks about building a bridge of authenticity and vulnerability, which you definitely don't hear in your average marketing guide. It even includes things like journaling prompts to help authors process their own stuff, which then presumably deepens their ability to connect honestly with readers.
It's exactly right. For the author, it means facing vulnerabilities head on and also reframing failure. So instead of getting bogged down by slow sales, you shift your thinking. You ask, okay, what lesson is this teaching me about connection, about persistence, maybe about humility, okay? It's a fundamental reframing of those inevitable setbacks.
Okay, so bringing these threads together, the emotional side of money, the language of NLP, this healing aspect, how does KJ actually weave them into one cohesive strategy for authors? How does it all work together?
This is where the Book Life Review suggests the book really shines. In what KJ calls the synergy of money, NLP, and healing. She guides authors to align all these pieces, their confidence in pricing, their messaging style using NLP, their emotional authenticity from that healing journey, all into one unified sales approach. And what's really striking is how this flips the script on marketing. It stops being about, pushing a product. It becomes about sharing your gift.
And the goal isn't just quick sales, right? The book offers practical, actionable steps for building a loyal readership, moving beyond just one-off transactions to build something more meaningful and, frankly, more sustainable for the author in the long run.
Yes, exactly. And her own personal piece, What Do I Have Authority On? Kay's Odyssey, that really adds another layer. It deepens this whole conversation around what authority even means, especially for creators. She admitted quite vulnerably that when she first asked herself, what do I truly have authority on? She just froze. The word authority immediately conjured up this huge, intimidating image. Total mastery, decades of study, awards, PhDs, bestseller lists, perfection, basically.
Like that traditional kind of scary view of authority. But her understanding changed, evolved. True authority, she realized, isn't about being perfect or having this flawless track record. It stands on three really crucial, very human pillars. First, the courage to share your lived truth. Just being brave enough to talk about what you actually went through, your specific challenges, the messy bits, the insights you gained.
The second pillar is the generosity to teach what you've learned. So once you've navigated something difficult, once you've gained some understanding from your own trials and errors, your authority grows hugely when you're willing to actually share that knowledge, to pass it on, to genuinely help someone else who might be just starting down that same path, lighting the way, kind of.
And the third one, the empathy to hold space for others navigating the same storm. This feels so important. It's not just about what you know or even what you teach. It's about how you connect with other people who are right there in it, feeling those same struggles, offering that understanding, that I get it feeling.
Yeah, and this approach, it really sort of democratizes authority, doesn't it? It makes it accessible to anyone who has a unique lived experience to share.
Yeah.
KJ's own authority, she says, comes from knowing exactly what it feels like to pour every single drop of your soul into writing a book and then launching it, only to stare at a sales dashboard that's basically blank. She's walked right through that specific, lonely, incredibly frustrating storm. She gets it because she lived it.
And she doesn't shy away from the details of that struggle either. She talks about agonizing over price points. Was it $2.99, $4.99? Constantly rewriting blurbs. She even describes feeling awkward about promotion, like she was pushing used cars when talking about her own book. That feeling resonates, I bet. And the emotional toll, right? Every rejection feeling intensely personal, like a rejection of her, not just the book.
And that's where the strange healing, as she puts it, started to happen for her. It was a deliberate, conscious decision to untangle her inherent self-worth from the market's reaction. Detaching her value as a person from the sales numbers was apparently incredibly liberating. It shifted her whole motivation away from desperately seeking validation towards just authentic expression. Sharing her truth, numbers be damned almost.
And her persistence wasn't about waiting for some magic bullet either. It involved treating the whole author journey like an ongoing experiment. Her early mistake, she realized, was thinking, write book, publish book, wait for magic. That passive approach. Instead, she committed to actively trying things. Testing, adapting, learning from every single thing that flopped.
Yes, she paid close attention to what actually seemed to resonate, which words sparked interest, which themes got an emotional reaction, and then she consistently iterated based on that feedback. It wasn't about finding one secret trick, it was about consistent effort and genuinely trying to understand what potential readers were actually looking for, listening, basically.
And KJ takes this connection idea even further. She reframes the whole author-reader relationship with this concept of the book as an energy exchange. Tell us more about that.
It's a fascinating perspective. She argues that when a reader buys your book, they aren't just giving money. They're investing their most valuable resources, their time, their focus, their emotional energy. And in return, the author offers a huge piece of their energy, their insights, their vulnerability, their imagination. So it becomes this deep, energetic connection, much more than just a simple commercial transaction. Readers aren't just after a story or info. They're often seeking honesty, vulnerability, seeing their own struggles reflected, and maybe even transformation.
That's a powerful way to think about it. And this profound reframe leads directly to KJ's really quite radical idea. Marketing can be more like healing than hustling.
Yeah.
How does that challenge the traditional marketing advice we usually hear? Because hustle is definitely a word we hear a lot.
Well, massively. Traditional marketing, let's be honest, can often feel icky, inauthentic, draining, especially for creative people, right? But when marketing becomes healing, the whole intention shifts. Instead of trying to convince someone to buy, the focus becomes genuinely connecting, understanding their struggles, maybe offering some gentle healing or understanding through your message. For the author, marketing then becomes a natural extension of the book's conversation. It's about building real trust, real community, not just chasing sales figures. And it seems this approach resonates. The book life review for Why Is Nobody Buying My Book was overwhelmingly positive. It praised KJ specifically for tapping directly into the anxieties of authors navigating the self-publishing process and for providing comprehensive practical solutions. Her own story, drawing from her diary at Cliches experience, makes the whole thing feel incredibly believable. It's positioned as an inspiring success story in itself.
Yeah, and beyond just the nuts and bolts, the book apparently champions a really uplifting and empowering mindset, encouraging an abundance mindset rather than scarcity. KJ keeps reminding authors, your book has the power to make a difference in the world, which honestly is such a vital message in a field that can feel pretty discouraging sometimes.
Absolutely. And the material highlights loads of actionable insights, everything from mastering storytelling and using that emotional anchoring we talked about to crafting irresistible blurbs, figuring out the right price, even designing an eye-catching cover. The book life review actually gave the book strong production grades too. Cover B plus Air, interior design A, editing A, marketing copy A, which really speaks to KJ's holistic view. It even compares it favorably to other well-regarded titles in the space, like books by Karen Hodges Miller and Sean Danda Trophy, but notes KJ's unique blend of that deep emotional intelligence with practical strategy.
And it seems KJ really lives this message too, right? Her ongoing presence on Kay's Corner, her blog posts about gratitude or what gets better with age, and even her children's series, The Adventures of Solly the Rescue Pup. Yes, apparently she's a dog mom too. It all reinforces this authentic, evolving approach to just sharing her lived truth. It's consistent.
It is, and she boils it down to practical steps for authors right now. revisit your messaging using those NLP principles we discuss. Analyze your audience. Go deeper than just demographics. Look at their psychographics, their values, lifestyles, dreams. Also, cultivate authentic connections by actually sharing personal stories, engaging in communities where your readers hang out, and maybe most importantly, celebrate small wins. Focus on progress, not perfection.
So just to wrap up who this book is really for, it sounds like indie authors wanting to boost sales, obviously, but also any writer seeking a deeper connection with readers. And really, anyone struggling with that self-doubt or the fear of rejection that seems baked into the publishing journey sometimes. It's presented as a deeply personal and practical toolkit. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, thinking about your own creative work? Why is nobody buying my book? By KJ seems to offer a really profound shift in perspective, moving beyond just chasing sales tactics towards building genuine connection, seeing your book not just as a product to push, but as a gift you're offering to the world. It sounds like it could be a truly transformative read for any indie author who's felt that initial frustration, that silence.
Absolutely. And KJ's core message about authority really sticks with you. That it does not come from having a perfect track record or bestseller badges or loads of external validation. That whole idea, she says, it's mostly an illusion. Instead, authority comes quite simply from your willingness to share your real, unpolished journey, which means fundamentally, your authority is already within you. It's tied to your unique life, your unique story.
Yeah, her final definition of her own authority ties it all together beautifully. She says it's the messy, honest, and ultimately healing reality of being an author, or any creator really, who wants their work to genuinely matter beyond sales figures. And crucially, she adds, it's also about the practical tools, the mindset shifts that can help you do that too. So it's both. It's the inner work and the outer work.
And KJ essentially offers this invitation directly to you, the listener. If you feel ready to finally claim your own story, your words deserve to be read. Your unique perspective deserves to be heard. And you, just as you are with your beautifully unpolished truth, you deserve to trust that your voice matters because it does. That's powerful.
It really is. So here's a final thought to leave you with. What if the real measure of your book's success isn't solely found in those sales figures? What if it's also about the authentic connections you manage to build along the way, the personal growth you experience as a creative, and the actual impact you have when you truly succeed in sharing your gift?
We definitely encourage you to reflect on KJ's insights. Consider how your own messy, honest, and healing reality could actually be your greatest source of authority. And remember her point. Owning your authority is not a one-time thing, it's a journey, and it starts right where you are with your truth.
So definitely check out KJ's new book, Why Is Nobody Buying My Book, when it launches on June 30, 2025. And in the meantime, you can explore her blog, Kay's Odyssey, for more of her insights and her ongoing journey.